Oh, country roads, take me home.
To the place I belong, Tokyo. Sorry, it's Hasumijo. Excuse me. Well, it's time.
We're almost there. When you meet your friends, your master, will you be ready?
I'd like to think at this point we're ready for anything.
Here we are. I don't think anyone will be pleased to see us.
They'll be ecstatic. Welcome to the final level. It's been a long road, but we're almost done.
There's the secret entrance. Remember the key. Hidden in light, shown in shadow.
We got a nice simple puzzle to start things off.
Ooh.
And then I dig around for a bit, because for some reason I think there's a hidden collectible in here. I don't know why, but I thought that there was like an artifact or something in this map.
It would make sense for it something to be hidden here,
Yeah.
but...
Especially since, like in the previous level, you start out only being able to use Path of the Mark, but eventually we will get access to the rest of our equipment. So this is a puzzle which looks like you're supposed to use Serenity for it, but you don't actually have to. You could just make it under there.
We speedy boys.
I recorded this footage quite a while back, and looking back on it now, it's kind of awkward how I tried to present some of these puzzles in the best possible light, but anyway. So there's obviously more light puzzles here. There's a vent underneath if you can't teleport back.
Ah.
We've used these tunnels countless times to sneak out on missions. But this must be the first time anyone's used them to sneak in.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it, Aura, since we've never seen this part of the dojo before.
A complex system of secret tunnels underneath a ninja base that you're raiding. I have to presume every ninja knows that they're here.
Are you alright? Are the hallucinations getting stronger? You have to be careful. You may start to see enemies who aren't even there. And if your mind thinks you've been shot, your body will believe it.
Aura is a master of explaining away gameplay mechanics.
Those tracks will kill you, and so will the train. There's a reason no one but us ever uses these tunnels.
Like that, for example.
It must be nice to have a paid narrator with you.
So, these enemy soldiers are all hallucinations. We can't really kill them yet, but we'll find out what's up with them once we get our sword back. In the meantime, we'll just sneak past them. And they got a nice echoey voice filter. So, like the previous level, I forgot to pick up one scroll before, but I got it in another take, and here's the take where I got it. It's this one right over here. You gotta wait until the subway light makes that block disappear, and then jump underneath. It's really tricky.
Oh, that's sneaky.
So this one is based entirely around using Serenity to teleport, and I'll admit I had to do a lot of editing and fast forwarding through this part because I do not make this puzzle look good. I really suck at it. It's not even that bad of a puzzle. I'm not good at it. So the idea is that those two generators, when you destroy them, the ones that are blocked by lasers, they lower the the two paths that are blocking the area to the scroll, and you just have to teleport between the other lasers and just make sure that that the lasers blocking the generators are turned off.
And you can mark of Serenity right through the lasers without
Yes.
any sort of issue. That's handy.
Yeah, it's those masks. And of course, there's the last step of the puzzle, which is figuring out how you're going to get up there. You have to get on top here, and then right at the peak of your jump, use Serenity to get up there.
That's clever.
Yeah. I make it look worse than it is.
Funeral rites for the one who bears them.
Chivos!
The ninja, or Kunoichi, bears the mark, kneels in the light of the final. The clan has no power, but still will give their life. The final is already.
Yeah, and since I got that seal last, those achievements you saw me get are for collecting all the scrolls and for getting all of the honor seals in the game.
Completionist trophies.
Oh, look who's back.
It's our old friends.
And our new friends.
Before we go any further, you'll need weapons. Old Tyra always kept plenty on hand at the top of the watchtower.
Of course, Tyra, that character who's been in all of the videos prior to this one. You remember him, right?
Character death off screen.
Who broke this?
That's probably the best example of the really great echoey voice filter that they use for the hallucination soldiers. And look over here. Bookending it. It's the pole!
Oh.
And if you use the analog stick, you can spin around on the pole.
Steve is putting his kids through college with that.
Hey, he's got to work for a living at some point. I mean, he was young and he needed the money. Alright, so this entire puzzle can actually be skipped if you do like a really precise jump and then use the Mark of Serenity to go up to that space there. It is also entirely possible if you do a very precise jump up to the roof on top of there to skip getting your equipment back, but it makes the other areas much harder. It is kind of fun to do though.
Tyra,
Oh.
even in death, you never let us down.
Whoever you were.
Now we must find Azai before they find us.
And now we have enough honor seals to get all the rest of the upgrades that we didn't get before.
Yes!
The reagents are on a delayed fuse, which means you can detonate this whenever you'd like. Now you can perform a stealth kill from inside the box, leaving one deceased guard inside the box. Of course, you'll have to leave the box behind, but you wouldn't want to cram in there with a body anyway.
That is such a great move. They're going to show that off later.
When your foes are disabled or stunned, you can dispatch any number of them in the time it would normally take to eliminate just one, and you'll be sure that they won't make a sound. Ceramic plates bound with leather will make your equipment more durable without sacrificing mobility or speed.
Armor.
Now here's a really good one.
Bamboo reinforced spines and extra fabric will slow down your falls, as if you're going into the ground.
Flying squirrel.
And the DLC items also get their own descriptions.
We raise these large moths on plants with a dark, dense pollen. Release the moths, and they'll swarm to the nearest lights. And between their broad wings and the heavy pollen, it'll be dark as night, not to mention silent. The pollen also irritates the eyes and throat, should you choose to throw it at anyone.
Huh.
These fungal spores gestate in the lungs. Anyone who breathes these will suffocate in seconds. And if anything disturbs the body, the spores will rupture and spread again. And the hissing sound they make when they take root will draw in anyone who hears it.
So the DLC makes it possible to grab every item, every upgradable item on your first playthrough. You need to wait for New Game Plus if you do it without the DLC.
So we also get Dosan's items at this point.
So it's kind of hard to notice there. I should have showed it off. I'll show it off later, but you'll see what happens to the hallucinations. We're gonna show off the cardboard box stealth kill as well. Yoink. And you can just leave the box there, or you can take it back. But, oh no, once you kill the hallucination, turns out you've been killing your fellow ninjas the whole time.
Oh.
Sadly, you cannot hide enemies already killed inside the box, which I find kind of disappointing. So, also there's a little exploit that you can use with the parachute to infinitely fly. That's also a speedrunning technique you'll see a lot.
I do appreciate that the achievement for the box kill is Inner Heaven.
Inner Heaven, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too. There's also achievements called the Dark Project and what's the other thief one?
Ooh,
There's another one, and there's one called Silent Assassin as well, I think.
This area is crawling with stalkers. It might be safer to duck into the subway tunnels and sneak past them.
So I'm going to be showing off both paths. This path is really awful. You probably shouldn't take it, especially on 1.0, because there's a checkpoint. Oh, I'll explain later. But first of all, we're going to lay a trap here, because that stalker always patrols the vents, so you could pretty easily just lay a trap for this stalker over here. But there's a checkpoint if in that bottom right corner of the temple area there, where if you set off that particular checkpoint in 1.0, you will always spawn in front of a stalker and get immediately caught. They fixed that in later versions, thankfully.
Quiet.
Well, she took the bait.
Yeah, there's one stalker over there guarding this scroll.
At sunrise, the pyre is erected 6 feet tall and kindled with branches from the trees of Hisamu-jo.
At which point we all sing "Summer is a coming in" and lock hands and dance.
The fire scorches off the mark, and the spirit slips free of the trials of this life.
The s'mores are an added bonus.
At least until the bandits from whom we have stolen the s'mores ran out. Yeah, the parachute is a really great technique, especially on on repeat runs of this game. Oh, also, I forgot about there's an extra thing here, extra scroll. That was on the right there. Unfortunately, the footage where I grabbed it before, where it was read out, got corrupted, so I'm gonna have to just put the text on the screen at some point. So anyway, we have this extra body here. I guess I decided against that. Unfortunately, this footage is kind of choppy since a lot of the footage I was going to use got corrupted. But anyway, this is me taking the other alternate path that you would normally take in order to get to the scroll.
So back to the subways and a couple of light puzzles.
Yeah. Yeah, not falling for that a second time. Unfortunately, this puzzle kind of stymies me because I hadn't played this path in a while. I normally take the upper path on playthroughs in my test playthroughs. And it's at this point I realized, oh crap, this just goes back to where I came from. Why didn't I plan this out better? And how am I gonna pad time when it comes to doing the running commentary?
Oh, play me off, Johnny! Dun, 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 dun.
I'm just glad the LP's almost over. We can't keep 100% quality all the time. All right. Hey, I think this is one of those gongs that was an optional seal back in video 1. See, we're bookending things. It's high quality again.
So we're right back where we started in the first episode.
Yeah. All right. So this is where I'm gonna get the stealth kill, or at least unfortunately I got the stealth kill in 15 seconds animation off screen again, but I kind of replicate what I did before here in this amazing slapstick sequence where I managed to get a guard terrorized. Apparently friendly fire counts as stealth kills because you're not being caught, but unfortunately there's a stalker here who's very alert, so I have to manage her as well as get all of these hallucinations in a row to be stealth killed. So I have one terrorized guard, plus a sniper, plus a stalker. So not exactly the best situation for me to be involved in here. Although, thankfully, because I got that stalker with the fungal spore, that's going to stead everyone else for friendly fire. And then that'll set up the sniper for a non-lethal KO. And then I'm just going to disable the stalker with dust mites. That's the only way to use a takedown on a stalker, by the way. And there you go. And I got the perfection achievement for getting all the optional seals.
Well done, sir.
Killing more of my fellow ninjas. But they made their choice. They sided with Master Azai. That's my that's my justification for these acts. So here's a variation on the spike trap from before. Except this one, it just activates automatically when you run over it. So this gave me an idea, because there's a stalker above me, and a spike trap right next to her, a couple of floors up. Took me a while to set this up, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So we're going to lure her over here. And she ran right into the spike trap.
So they're not so much smart as they are fast and mobile.
They're very fast and very aggressive, yeah.
We're back. Not much of a homecoming, is it? It's time to confront Azai. At this hour of the night, he must be in his garden.
So the Dusk Moths can take out stalkers, and they can also take out elites. It's also the only way for someone who's using Dozan's costume to take out elites. Yeah, I should point out we've been using Dozan's costume this whole time, in honor of our fallen friend.
Take my clothes, Steve. Bury me naked.
I don't know why I left that in. Yeah, my editing's been sloppy the last couple episodes. I don't know what's gotten into me. Also, just like what happened a couple episodes ago, that 1.0 glitch where the vents really don't like elite bodies.
Of course, they locked the place down. But if I remember correctly, there's a switch in the old dojo that opens these doors.
I promise that the next LP will be edited better.
It's all right, man. We're gonna make it.
All right, so I decided to bring some bodies with me into the next area. This actually ends up being my undoing, but in a rather interesting way. Also, that guy just died. Also, I got caught, but I decided I would show off the slide attack while I'm here, because it's not very useful, but I haven't really used it much in this LP, so might as well. So an idea occurs to me, because I know what's going to happen in the next map. So I'm going to bring
We
over.
haven't set foot in here since we were students.
I'm going to bring over both the bodies here, and I'm going to set what I think is a huge, elaborate, and brilliant trap. But spoilers, it's going to turn out horribly, but not for reasons that you'd think. So there's a puzzle at the end of in this next area, and some enemies that spawn at the end, and I think to myself, aha, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna
Remember this
put
test?
fungal spores
The statue
on these
was
enemies
another type.
On the
and
bodies.
set it up so that they get ambushed. However, things don't exactly go as planned, as we'll be seeing in a little bit. So we set the fungal spores. That part goes well. Then we'll actually solve the puzzle. This is actually pretty fun, this part. So we have to light those two eyes. That unlocks the sword mechanism in the middle of the arena. And of course, ideally, we should do that without being caught.
What was that noise?
It was probably nothing. Dusk Moths are really fun to use in the main story campaign. Especially since they're not really designed for it. Fungal spores as well. So this next spotlight is where the tricky part happens, because they're actually the spotlights are reversed. The one on the right is meant to illuminate the one on the left, and vice versa. And it's set up so you have to really think about it. I would like to say that I deliberately set this up so that I was playing it like an idiotic player. But alas, I cannot make that claim of intentional ignorance. Also, you have to manually activate that spotlight, which adds further complications. But eventually, eventually my idiotic brain puts two and two together. So at this point, there's a cutscene that's supposed to activate here, but because that enemy on the left was distracted by one of the bodies, the cutscene never triggers. I get spotted, and I'll basically get shot to death right there.
Oh, no.
So I restarted the whole level and disposed of the bodies appropriately. And this is how it's supposed to go down.
This is part of the test, too.
So you're supposed to hide from these stalkers.
Just hold on. We know you're in here.
But one bit of fungal spore takes care of all three of them instantly. And now we just wait around for 20 seconds. This is supposed to be like a tense game of hide and seek against three of the toughest enemies in the game. And I'm just dicking around like an idiot.
We're having a dance party, folks.
It's open. Get out of there.
You don't need to sound so tense, Aura. There's literally nothing. No danger at all.
Now nothing stands between us and Azai.
Quite beautiful.
So that achievement is for completing a story campaign with Dozat's costume.
Home.
Oh.
So the ending has its own level. So we'll be completing that level in this video right after this. And this is the cutscene I've been looking forward to. Here we go.
Put down your sword. I am
Probably not. Yeah, you are.
You risked our lives and our clan, all to hide your failure.
Who are you listening to? Have the hallucinations grown so strong? The voice you hear is temptation.
What?
It is trying to trick you, to turn you against us, to lead you into madness. You must not let it.
I've never lied to you.
You swore an oath to save the clan. Sacrifice yourself. Reclaim your honor, and you will give us a chance to survive.
The clan gave up its honor, its guts, and its pride. It's not worth saving.
I will leave you to make your decision. Take our ancestral blade from its shrine, and come when you are ready.
So Aura is basically like a ninja Tyler Durden.
What?
Yeah, she never existed. How do you think she's been able to sneak in and out so much throughout all these levels?
Its head in shame, as it should.
What the hell, man?
We must cleanse the rest of the clan. None of them have any honor.
So now we get a nice trippy sequence here.
They called him Azai the Measured, but Azai the Fallen will be his legacy.
I like to think that Aura represents the really sassy part of Steve's brain that he never gets a chance to because he never fucking
I
talks.
wish we could hear your voice.
I wish I wasn't a mute.
When you finally face Azai, don't let me down. He needs to pay for what he has done.
Yeah, nice pull on that lever, Steve. You didn't even touch the thing.
Let me tell you the story of the ink.
So there was one other instance which initially, when I played this game in 2012, I thought was foreshadowing to Aura not existing, which was that Aura did not make any footsteps when she ran, and she was the only character that did that. But apparently that was just a glitch, because they ended up fixing that.
Huh.
And originally when I beat the game, I thought, oh, that was pretty clever. You know, I never would have thought of that, but apparently no, that was just a bug.
I'm here to help you. Rule number 1, don't get me killed.
Yeah, that seems unlikely. I don't think it's even possible to kill you.
Hours have been dead a year, maybe more.
Wow.
You picked the wrong guys to rob, Sensei.
So it's all starting to come together. Aura is basically the personification of all of the hallucinations that Steve and others who have borne the mark undergo. So who's to say that, you know, the others who have taken up the tattoos have someone like Aura living in their heads?
Interesting.
You and I, we've always been together.
Not true. Only since he took the mark. It is categorically untrue. So here we go. We've got our big ending choice. Who do we kill? And I really like how this section is animated. Because they have extended animations not only for accepting their fate, but if you decide to change their mind, their animation slightly changes.
Wow.
It's really nice attention to detail. So we're going to show both endings. Here's the ending where you kill his eye. And now it's kind of heavily implied that you take over the Azai clan at this point. And here's the ending where you kill Aura.
That is actually really, really well done.
Hey, I'm back. What did I miss? So there you go. That's Mark of the Ninja.
Oh my god!
Was that anything like what you were expecting at the end there?
I was expecting her to be behind it.
You were.
For kind of the same reason you were expecting her to be a ghost on your first playthrough, a hallucination. Because there's one point earlier in the game where when you use the ninja vision, she's highlighted like an enemy.
Yeah.
I thought that was foreshadowing. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, there you go. This is this is Mark of the Ninja, an absolutely excellent 2D stealth game, which all of you watching this should absolutely play. It is a masterpiece of stealth design, given the limitations with which they were working. This is
Bravo, Clay.
Now, I'm not really a big multiplayer guy, so I haven't played Don't Starve, but, you know, I'm pretty happy with this being their legacy with Clay Entertainment.
If you get to do one game project in your life, this is the kind of project that you hope to do. The art is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The voice work was spot on. The story was well written.
Only one guy on QA. I feel sorry for Wade.
Wade might have had an easy job. I mean, they might have gotten it right on the first try. Well, I mean, we know better, but
So Chris Dallin, he also worked on another game that I let's played, codename Cygnus, the iOS interactive story game.
I remember that. Yeah.
One production baby.
This isn't like the big AAA budget games where there's like 50 production babies and 14 production dogs and an in memoriam,
No.
at the end, other than Dasan.
Wait,
Press
Ted
F.
Woolsey worked at Microsoft? I didn't know that.
The name sounds familiar.
He was a localizer for a lot of Nintendo games in the 90s. Most notably Final Fantasy
Yes.
VI.
Yeah, I remember hearing the name in reference to Xbox. I remember it less in reference to Nintendo. So, but
He was responsible for a lot of the more clever Japanese to English translations.
Wait a minute, is he the spoony bard guy?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so there's no post-credits scene, but there is kind of a joke at the end, and it's a reference to a cartoon. And I'm gonna see if you know the reference here.
Okay. Let's put my trivia hat on.
I couldn't resist one more cameo from Dozan doing a little Samurai Jack reference. And of course you have New Game Plus, which I was considering showing off a level of it, but it's really not that different. There's a couple of things that are harder in New Game Plus. It's kind of like Batman Arkham City in a way, but ultimately, I mean, this LP's been going on long enough. I didn't want to have to record even more. And I think we've seen enough of what you would expect on a first run through. It's not like they change any of the enemy layout. It's just there's more restrictions on what Steve is able to do. So there you go.
Gotcha.
That was Mark of the Ninja, and now that that's done, I can finally get around to the game that I was promising at the end of Gun. I recorded all of the footage for that game at least a year ago now, so I can finally get to use it and delete it off my hard drive once I'm done. Oh boy. Okay. Mark of the Ninja. Go play it.
Yeah,
Next game coming up, it's going to be something. It's a wet, wild adventure, which you may regret taking, but you'll never forget it.
I am wet with anticipation.
I'm cutting that out.